You're looking at an aerial shot of the Nashville treasure, Fort Negley, and it's just been reopened to the public after being closed for more than 60 years. It played a very significant role in Nashville's history during the Civil War. Bob Henderson is joining me right now. Bob's with the Nashville Preservation Society. And Bob, tell me a little bit about Fort Negley and its significance.
Fort Negley is actually the largest stone fortification that was built during the Civil War inland. It covers 4 acres, roughly 27,000 square feet, 62,000 cubic feet of stone. It's a very, very large fortification, and it's very significant historically because of its uniqueness geographically. Nashville was the springboard for the Union occupation of Tennessee and the entire western theater of the United States. It was a major resupply center for the Civil War. The first thing the Union forces did when they occupied Nashville in February of 1862 was to develop a very extensive defensive network of forts that consisted of 7 forts, this being the key fort on the southernmost side, interlaced with about 14 miles of earthworks around the city.
Yeah, and for 60 years it's been closed, but this fort was a great lookout point and has a really lot of African-American ties to it as well, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There are about 13,000 laborers, mostly African-American soldiers and laborers that built the fort over 3 months at a cost of, I believe it was about $130,000 in $1862.
Yeah. Why do you think it's significant that this be restored and people have the opportunity to come up and see what was here?
Well, the problem with Nashville, unlike a lot of other places, in Murfreesboro you have the Stones River National Military Park, you have the Carter House in Franklin. There really isn't any place in Nashville to go see that's a focal point or an icon, and we're hoping that by opening up this fort we can bring people into this, interpret the fort and its history, and also the other 21 sites that are identified in the Nashville area as historically significant to the Civil War. From that point, we educate them more as to the battles of Franklin, Murfreesboro, Shiloh, Donelson, Chickamauga, Chattanooga, all the other major battle sites in Tennessee. So this could be a springboard for those other tourist destinations.
It was 140 years ago this week that Battle of Nashville took place. It's ironic. We're kind of feeling a lot of probably the weather they probably felt at that time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it was very warm when they first came into town in the early part of the month after the bloody Battle of Franklin, but it turned to an icy, overcast mess that snarled the troops for about a week before they could actually launch out and go after the Confederates that were dug to the south side of town.
Yeah, but you had a great lookout of those troops that would move up from the south side that were coming, I guess, toward us from Peach Orchard Hill back to our that way.
Sure. Actually, they would have come up from Franklin, up the Franklin Pike, which you can see in the distance there. The large hill range is basically where the Confederates were dug in the second day of the battle, and then their retreat was back out Franklin Pike the same way they came in.
This is going to be a great boon for the city of Nashville in terms of tourists, people who love Civil War history and love to visit, to be able to come to this place and to see what happened here.
Well, Nashville's always been a tourist destination. I think it's probably gone unnoticed for a long time how many people come here for the Civil War. It's estimated there are about 100,000 troops that fought here in December of 1864, and if you do the math, that equals at least 1 million descendants that are out there right now that are direct descendants of soldiers that fought here.
Yeah, and how many troops would have been here at this fort?
The fort, actually, there's no account that I've seen at the Battle of Nashville. They had 11 guns that took 75 men to man, so they had at least 75 people arming the guns here.
Bob, if people would like more information on Fort Negley, how can they get it?
The best place, if you have internet access, is go to www.bonps.org. That stands for Battle of Nashville Preservation Society. There's a page that has all sorts of information about the fort and also a link to the driving tour of the other 21 sites around Nashville.
Right. Of course, it is a city park, and you come up here and visit. We'll put all that information for you on the Talk of the Town hotline.
It's a Nashville treasure that's been hidden for more than half a century. Civil War buffs have known about Fort Negley for years, but now the city is about to reopen it to the public. News Channel 5's Barry Simmons gives us a sneak peek as crews rush to get it ready.
Behind the stone entrance and the locked gates is a fort so concealed no one's seen it in almost 60 years. Fort Negley, once among the most neglected Civil War sites in the country, is finally getting some attention. Crews are paving roads, building walkways, and an observation tower over what once was a battlefield.
They had cannons in every direction, but most of the fire was concentrated to the southwest because that's where the Confederates would have come from, most likely.
142 years ago, this was a Union stronghold, 38 acres behind what is now Greer Stadium. Few even know it's here. Even fewer have cared.
Since 1946, this was allowed to basically decay, and up until just recently, this was all covered with undergrowth.
Bob Henderson is a Civil War buff who has become the fort's protector. He lobbied for its restoration for years.
But you can see in parts of the forts where it actually is blown out because of the water pressure.
Henderson won that battle, and in just weeks, Metro Parks will reopen the fort for good. The city is spending $400,000 on the project. It's going toward these walkways and signs that will go up explaining the history. And it's not just for preservation. It's also to draw tourism. Tens of thousands of visitors every year.
This could be a focal point for not only the Civil War in Nashville, but for the Civil War in the whole region.
Henderson says defending a fort isn't as easy as it looks, even if you're just fighting back nature. Crews still have a long way to go before they declare victory. Barry Simmons, News Channel 5.
The park's grand reopening is scheduled for December the 10th. Metro is already planning a second phase for later next year. That will include adding tour guides.